A toddler reportedly on the side of a dark highway. A woman stops to help this baby, but then she goes missing. Nothing is found of the woman or the baby. Is this an unsolved mystery or something even worse? This is the case of Carlee Russell, right now on Love and Murder. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Love and Murder, the weekly true crime podcast discussing relationships gone terribly wrong, where our motto is, you're either someone's last love or their first murder. I'm your host, Kai, and this show discusses true crime cases told in the form of a story with mystery and suspense. Be sure to subscribe to Love and Murder on Spotify, Apple, or whatever platform you're currently listening on so you don't miss any of our cases. And if you didn't know, you can also subscribe to our Patreon so that you don't have to hear an intro or commercials. In today's episode, we're talking about the case of Carlee Russell, which has ensnared the nation, and even myself, which is why I'm doing this case. But first, I wanted to remind you to head on over to our exclusive group at patreon.com/love and murder. The last episode we had in there was of a case of a guy who was being investigated by the FBI, but when they went to visit his house, they found more than they bargained for. So head on over to patreon.com/love and murder. You can sign up for $3 or above, and we'll talk about that later on in the show. In the meantime, grab your butts, grab your apple juice, as we always do, and let's get into some Love and Murder. Now, initially, when I talked about doing Carlee Russell, I did say that I wasn't going live, and I asked for the Lambs to send me in their thoughts on what they thought was going on with Carlee Russell. However, y'all disappointed me. I didn't get one response, not one. So I decided that I was just going to report on what I've been hearing, what I was thinking when this case first came out, and all the way up until what's going on now. So let's get into what the case is. Then I'll talk about my thoughts from when the case first aired and some things that came out on social media and where the case is currently. So on July 13th, 2023, a woman spotted a toddler walking alone on the side of the highway, and she called 911 to report this while she was still in her car.
911, where's your emergency?
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves.
Oh, hold on. Where on 459 are you?
I'm right next to the exit 10 by the Hoover Met, like to get off by the Hoover Met.
Okay, so you're before that exit?
Yes.
Okay, and were you headed southbound or northbound? Like toward Tuscaloosa or toward 280?
Towards Tuscaloosa.
Okay, and was the child on the left or right side?
On the right side.
Were they walking northbound or southbound?
They're walking towards Tuscaloosa.
Walking southbound? Or how old do they look?
Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4.
Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them?
Yes.
Okay, are you with the child right now?
No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though.
Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there?
Yeah, okay. Sure, yeah.
Okay, what kind of car are you in?
I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz.
Is that a sedan or SUV?
SUV. I mean, it's a sedan. Sorry.
Can you put your hazards on for me?
Yeah, they're on.
Okay. Did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do they look like they're injured?
No, they don't.
Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
They're white.
Okay. Is it male or female?
I think it's a boy, a little boy.
White male? Okay. Is he wearing clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What is he wearing?
It's a white T-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
And you don't see any cars anywhere?
No cars are anywhere.
Okay. All right. What's your name?
My name is Carlee Russell.
And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct?
No, but I can't really see them that good.
Okay. Try to keep an eye on them for the best you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them.
Okay.
All right. And do they have shoes on?
No.
Shoes?
Not that I can see. I can't really see that well.
Okay. All right. I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but officers are on the way, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
25-year-old Carlee Russell from Alabama had called 911 at around 9:30 p.m. on July 13th, 2023. So, about 2 weeks from the date of this recording. As you heard in the 911 call, she said the toddler only had on like a diaper and maybe like a little shirt and was walking barefoot by itself down a dark highway. Carlee then called her sister-in-law, who was at her parents' house, and told her what was going on. She then told her sister-in-law that she would get out of her car and wait with the kid because no one was around. And she didn't want the child to, either run into traffic or run into the wooded area that was right next to the highway. So as she was doing everything that she was doing, she's telling her sister-in-law what's going on. I'm getting out the car. I'm walking over to the baby. The baby is by itself, asking the baby some questions. And then her sister-in-law literally just heard a scream and then sounds of the highway. So, just cars passing, wind. And she kept calling Carlee's name, Carlee, 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 and no answer. So the woman hung up and ran to Carlee's mother, Talitha Russell, and told her what was going on. So then they both tried to call Carlee back over and over again and got no answer. So then Carlee's mother panicked, obviously, and called the police to let them know what was happening and where Carlee was last seen. 5 minutes after that call, police arrived on the scene and they reported that Carlee was not there, but her car was there. Beside the car, they found her wig, they found her cell phone, and inside her car, they found her purse, and inside her purse was her Apple Watch, which to me, that's weird. Why would you take off your Apple Watch? Can't really say it was charging, so why is it just off and in your purse? That's all I'm just wondering. But that's all they found. They didn't find her, they didn't find a baby, they didn't find any other evidence, just exactly what I told you. Now, people might ask, why did she stop in the first place, and or why was there a baby on the side of the road? Now, we do know sometimes, there have been cases where babies are found outside wandering by themselves. There was one where the parents were like high on cocaine or something, and somebody found the baby just walking down the highway. I think it was a truck driver or something, and picked up the baby and reported it. So that, that could be a reason why the baby was on the highway. Now, why she stopped in the first place, it is a baby outside at night on a highway. You don't want to see a baby get killed or just, a baby being lost or exposed to the elements or anything like that. There's also an urban legend, and I guess should we call it an urban legend? There's also a story that's been going around that says, there are people, whether it's gangs or sex traffickers or whatever, leave babies out in the middle of the road and they're waiting for a woman to stop, because more than likely their thought process, this is how the story goes, is going to be a woman who stops, and then, they stop to pick up the baby, and then the sex traffickers can get the person, the woman, and, that's how they kidnap her. So my question to you, lambs, is would you stop? If you're driving down a dark road and you see a baby on the side of the road, or even you hear crying or whatever, are you going to stop? Let me know what you would do in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Anyway, before I go any further, I want to apologize. Like if you're hearing my mic or my sound sounds different, that's because I'm actually holding my mic today. Like I'm literally holding it in my hand. I wasn't supposed to go live, but y'all needed an episode, and I was not going to disappoint by not putting out an episode today. So I'm not in my normal recording like space. However, we are going to make this work, and make it work we shall. So anyways, after Carlee went missing, a massive manhunt started. They say you have 48 hours to find a person before the trail goes cold. This actually went viral all over social media, and a large group of volunteers went out to find her. These volunteers were actually organized by Carlee's parents. That Saturday, the Hoover police released a photo of Carlee just to try and see if, they could drum up more information about her. So they had an initial photo and they released another photo. And then to top it off, they offered a reward totaling $50,000. Well, at least $50,000. So this money came from an anonymous source donated $20,000. And then $5,000 was raised by Crime Stoppers of Metro Atlanta. And then $25,000 came from Keller Williams, the real estate company. But even though they did all that, no leads came forward. Then nothing. They got nothing. And 48 hours came and went. Then, in hour 49, Carlee appeared apparently out of nowhere and knocked on her parents' door. On Saturday, July 15th, Carlee showed up at her parents' house, and then they called the police around 10:45 p.m., letting them know that, hey, Carlee's here. So police and medics booked it over to her house, and they observed Carlee and immediately took her to the hospital for evaluation. When Carlee was in the hospital, she did not speak to police. They said she was too tired, this ordeal that she had just gone through and everything. So she just got evaluated, looked over by the doctor and everything, and was considered in good health. Maybe a bit dehydrated, but overall good health. But the investigation didn't stop just because she wasn't talking to them. During the investigation, police noted that they were never able to find the toddler that Carlee referred to, which to me doesn't spark concern, because if it was one of those urban legends, quote unquote, then of course they're not going to just leave the baby there. The baby is supposed to be bait, and then they're going to take the baby with them. Or it's a doll, and maybe she just thought she saw it walking, but she just saw a doll. But obviously the kidnappers aren't going to leave it out. So that kind of didn't spark concern with me that they didn't find the kid. But again, after I finish telling you about the case, I'm going to talk about my thoughts. Of course, now, after her daughter's been found and was released from the hospital, so now she's home and everything, everybody started asking questions. Everybody wanted an interview. Everybody wanted the exclusive. So Talitha obviously wasn't going to give an interview. She just was so happy her daughter was home. She didn't want to talk to anyone. And on Sunday, she posted a statement on Facebook that has since been deleted, asking for privacy to allow, I'm going to say, quote, to allow us to just love on our daughter and each other with our close family and friends, end quote. That post has since been deleted. In the meantime, police went through all of their 911 calls and did not find another driver who made a call saying that they saw a little baby on the highway. Not one person did that. So then they looked at traffic cams that were on that stretch of highway around the time that Carlee called 911. And they noticed that they didn't see anybody walking. No babies, no animals, just nobody on the side of the road. So then they started questioning. They did get a tip early on about a gray car and a man standing outside of Carlee's car. But after they looked at the footage, they saw that that wasn't the case. So now questions are coming in. Where is this baby? Why did nobody else see this baby? Why did nobody else stop? Why did nobody else call 911 even if they didn't stop? How did you get away? How did you just show up at the house? Where have you been? Everything like that. And at the time, Carlee wasn't talking. Her parents weren't talking. The family weren't talking. Nobody was giving answers to, they don't have to give answers to us, but they weren't giving answers to investigators. So police continue their investigation. Finally, Carlee does give police a statement, and you would think there would be relief that they got the story of what happened. However, it just led to more questions. She said she was driving home from her job, which at this time she was a nursing student with a part-time job at a spa. She said she was driving home when all of this happened. Quote, she claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed. The next thing she remembers is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. She stated that the male was with a female. However, she never saw the female, only hearing her voice. She also told detectives she could hear a baby crying. She claimed she was blindfolded but was not tied up because the captors said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrist. She said that they took her into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her but does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact. She then said that the next day she woke up and the woman fed her cheese crackers and played with her hair. Then after that, sometime after that, she was able to escape because they put her back in the truck, and because she wasn't tied up and everything, she was able to escape from that. She then ran through the woods and came out near her house. So that was the statement she gave police, which to me, well, I'll give my opinion at the end. So police then took Carlee's phone, which they already had as evidence. And, they went through it looking for information, just trying to get a feel of what happened. They discovered some rather odd things, like web searches that included, quote, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? And, quote, how to take money from a register without being caught. She had also searched for the movie Taken, that movie where, I forgot who plays in it. He's one of my favorite actors. Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is the main actor. And basically he's this retired CIA agent, and his daughter got kidnapped while she was backpacking through Europe. And he said, I have a particular set of skills. That whole line. I can't remember the whole line, but basically that. And he went and saved his daughter. So she looked that up. So a movie about being abducted, which I just looked it up myself right now. So that really doesn't mean anything. It's just coupled with everything going on. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing they saw on her phone was that she also searched bus tickets from Birmingham, Alabama to Nashville, Tennessee to depart on the day she went missing. Then on that same day, someone searched her work computer for information about Amber Alert, like what's the maximum age someone would put out an Amber Alert, stuff like that. So then police decided to do a retrace from the day that Carlee went missing to the day she arrived. They decided to retrace her steps. So let me take a moment and go back and tell you the exact date and time that these events occurred. So this comes from cbsnews.com. So July 11th at 7:30 a.m., that's when Carlee searched for, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? July 13th, 1:03 a.m. That's when she searched for how to take money from a register without being caught. July 13th at 2:13 a.m. is when she searched for Birmingham bus station. And for those not here, Birmingham is in Alabama where Carlee lives. July 13th, 2:35 a.m. That's when she searched for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville. That was her search, but it's Birmingham, Alabama to Nashville, Tennessee, with a departure date of July 13th. And then July 13th at 12:10 p.m., that's when she searched for the movie Taken. So in tracing back her steps, police saw that on that night where she was abducted, allegedly, at 8:20 p.m., that's when she left work at the spa and then went to a restaurant nearby and picked up some food. She then went to Target and bought some snacks, which were like some granola bars, some Cheez-Its and everything like that. And then she stayed in the Target parking lot. So she got to Target at around 8:20 and she stayed in the parking lot till 9:21. So a whole hour. Then at 9:34 is when she called police, reporting the toddler on the highway. While she was on the phone with the dispatcher, so the dispatcher had told her, stay in the car, keep the baby in your sight, everything like that. While she was on the phone with the dispatcher, she traveled about 600 yards. So 600 yards is about 6 football fields. So personally, in that shorter time period, between 9:34 and 9:36 is when Carlee called her sister-in-law. I don't know any toddler who walks that long, that far, that fast. I'm just saying. I don't even think they would do one football field in 2 minutes. I mean, toddlers are fast, but come on. This is kind of like Superman toddler here. And then remember I told you what they found in her car? Well, none of the stuff she bought at Target were in the car. Which isn't a big thing because she could have eaten them because she did stay in the parking lot for an hour. But at the same time, none of the trash was there too. Which again, I guess isn't a big thing because she could have just thrown it away. Now, I'm pretty sure that all of y'all probably saw the traffic cam footage, but if you haven't, I'm posting it in our Patreon group because as you know, if you're part of our Patreon, you get everything, pictures, case files, documentations that were filed with the court, videos, whatever comes with the case. So you don't have to go and do your own investigations. I've done it all for you and it's all in the case with the case notes and everything like that. So that is in our Patreon and you can get that starting at the $3 a month tier. So if you want that, just head on over to our Patreon or you can search for it yourself. So all of this is going on and then her parents gave an interview. Now, I watched this interview. I think I watched it once or twice. I didn't watch it that many times because when I first watched it, I had questions already of how the parents were acting, how they were responding. And I'm kind of an overthinker, so I didn't want to put that in my head to overthink. I was just like, okay. So I just watched the interview. But if you're somebody who pays attention, you pay attention to certain cues in that interview. And I'll also post the interview in our Patreon. And the way the mother said certain things, and there was one thing that was really, really telling. So I watch a lot of interrogations with psychologists commenting on the interrogations. And a lot of things that the psychologists were saying were evident in the parents. So one thing that really stuck out to me is when they were answering a question, they answered in the affirmative verbally, but their heads were shaking like no, in a negative. So their mouths said yes, their body says no. And psychologists have pointed that out in certain interrogations when that has happened. So that wasn't a good thing. Also, when Carlee's mother would use the word abductor or something like that, she was like swallowing the word. So I thought it was only me who saw that. But when I listened to this other true crime podcaster that I love, yes, true crime podcasters listens to true crime podcasters. When I listened to her episode, I realized that she saw the same thing that I did. So I was like, okay, it's not just me. So if you want to see that video, you can go to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/loveandmurder, or you could just search it yourself. Police also found out that Carlee had taken, allegedly, some things from her job, like a roll of toilet paper, a bathrobe, and some other things. So they also didn't find these things in the car. So I could explain away the food. I can't explain away these other things, these non-edible things. So that's basically where the investigation is right now. Just a bunch of question marks in the air. And I'm going to talk about my opinion and why I also didn't jump on the bandwagon and post this when everything was happening. But before I do that, on Friday, the 22nd, so as of this recording is Friday, the 22nd of July, no, the 21st of July, sorry. Carlee was fired from her job, which some people would be like, oh, that's so mean. She went through such an ordeal, blah, blah, and she stole from them. So they do, even though she went through an ordeal, they would have a right to let her go. You may think that, I'm being mean, but she also stole from them. So her boyfriend, Tomar Latrell Simmons, asked everyone to stop bullying her. Quote, the only thing I can say is I want everyone to stop bullying her. I know what it seems like, what she did. Just stop bullying on social media. Think about her mental health. She doesn't deserve that. She doesn't. Nobody deserves to be cyberbullied. He said this on Saturday, the 22nd. And then it was kind of revealed that he kind of quietly has been like taking her off of his social media. So whatever pictures and everything that he had of her on there, he's just been removing. Which I agree with him. Like, no matter what she did, don't bully her online. Like, why are you wasting your time bullying her? I don't understand why people waste their time bullying anyway. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But, if no matter what you think, if you think that this was a hoax, why bully her about it? What's going to change? What's that going to change? She's not going to suddenly see the light and be like, oh, yes, because of what you said, And if it's not a hoax, then now you just look like an idiot. So I agree. Leave the woman alone. Keep your thoughts to your thoughts. Talk about it amongst yourselves, whatever. Why go online and say it? She says as she's hosting a true crime podcast. But I'm not bullying the girl. I'm not trying to bully her. I'm just giving my thoughts, and I'll also tell you why I waited so long to say anything. So the other thing is that the reward money came up to $63,000, and so far it's not being returned to the donors, even though she's back, because Crime Stopper says that, quote, the investigation is still ongoing. But I mean, even though their investigation is ongoing, she found herself. So what, are you going to give her the $63,000? Like, I don't understand why they can't get their money back. That's just interesting to me. And then the other thing that I wanted to say, but I forgot to, is remember when I said, a massive manhunt went on for her? Not only the volunteers that her parents got together, but everybody, like federal people. Well, it was local, state, and federal agencies. And I think on one of the podcasts that I listened to, they said the Secret Service, but that doesn't make sense to me. So I'm not going to say that. I just know local, state, and federal agencies were out helping to find her, to try and find her. Can you imagine? So if this turns out to be false, in Alabama, it's a Class A misdemeanor. And you get up to 1 year in prison and a fine of $6,000. I have a feeling a lot more is going to happen if this story does turn out to be false, because of everybody that was involved in it. It wasted so much time, government time. When I say government, I mean the federal law enforcement and stuff like that. So I hope it's not fake, but with the evidence mounting up, it's not looking too good. Now, my thoughts after all of this, my thoughts. I saw this probably at the same time as y'all when it first came out. I heard of this, and when she went missing, I was like, okay, well, it sounds like the old baby on the highway trick again, eh? You know, that whole Dave Chappelle skit. Yeah, it sounded like that to me. And I was like, oh man, I wouldn't have gotten out of the car. You know, I was talking to my husband about what I wouldn't have done and what would he have done. And, you know, we talked about that whole thing. Then when the video came out, I looked at the footage and then my first thought was that I didn't see anything on the side of the road. I watched that video a couple times because I was looking intently to see if I saw anything walking on the highway. You know, you'll see in her headlights, you'll see something. And I didn't see any cars, even press a brake light. And I'm pretty sure there's not that many cold-blooded people in the world that if you saw a toddler on the side of a dark highway, you wouldn't stop or at least brake and look or call 911 as you're driving past or anything. The other thing is when I saw the footage, so when I heard about it at first, I had in my head what I imagined the location to be. When I saw the footage, it didn't match anything that I had in my head. Because okay, let me say it like this. Logically, if anyone's going to do this, it's not going to be on a well-lit highway. Like you're going to put out a baby to kidnap somebody. It's not normally going to be on a well-lit highway, busy highway with people passing by where they can quickly identify, yeah, I saw a guy there. I saw this. Yeah. That's too many witnesses, you know, cameras, everything. I thought it would be like a back road that's dark and, you know what I'm saying? So when I saw the footage to what I imagined, it didn't match. So that's when I first started questioning. Then she just basically showed up at home. And then I was just like, wow, interesting. I can't wait to hear her story. But like, I usually don't really form opinions until I hear the entire story. Like, for instance, when friends usually ask me for advice on something when it's dealing with somebody else, I always want to hear both sides. I'm not giving you advice when I only hear your side. I need to hear both sides for me to give sound advice. Because usually people tell stories on how they see them, only how they see it. I need to hear both sides. So it's the same with a case, just a case, period. I'm not going to just jump on the bandwagon like everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Oh, I guess this happened. Oh, she showed up. I wait for, and I actually tried that. I don't know if y'all go back in the history and you see, oh yeah, day one of this case, and then you never see anything from me again about that case. It's because that's just not me. I need the whole thing. I need the entire story, all the facts before I come out and say anything, because to me, it's not fair to people when you just come out without any information and just start talking. You know, like, how would you like it if something happened to you and then everybody just literally just starts talking about it? No information, no facts to back it up. They just start giving their opinions on your life with no basis, you know, about what happened, anything. So that's just not me. I know it gives you more views and everything like that, but I kind of got to stick to who I am as a person, and that's not who I am. So I was just like, okay, she came home, like, wow, that's really interesting. I can't wait to hear her story. I want to hear, and then I sat like waiting to hear what she or her parents had to say. And it was like every day it was like, oh, she's not giving a statement. Oh, she's not. And I'm like, why isn't she talking? Like, if you were abducted, you want to get the information out quickly to get that person arrested. So I just didn't understand why she wasn't talking. I mean, it could be that she was so traumatized that she didn't want to relive it. So I guess I understood that. But then I was like, okay, well, her parents aren't saying anything. So did she not say anything to her parents? So I just didn't know what was going on. And I didn't know if she was lying or telling the truth because there was literally still only like 5 minutes of facts. I didn't have enough facts. So opinion was starting to form, but it wasn't anything solid. So I still didn't have anything to report to y'all. Then I found it interesting that I saw posts online from other people basically condemning true crime contenters. So they were saying things like, oh, y'all mad that she came home? Or like, you're mad that she came home. Would you have rather her gotten murdered? Or you're like, she escaped and you mad about that, huh? Like, so when I saw that, I kind of chuckled. I was like, wow. Because, neither side knows enough information. Neither side. The people who are saying that and the people who were coming out with whatever they were saying from the true crime standpoint. I don't think anybody was mad that she came home. That's not what it was. But it was just people questioning, like, where you been? What happened? You know what I'm saying? And then everybody else who has to white knight it up, even if they don't know any of the facts. Kind of like the Johnny Depp case. Then I started hearing about what the police found. So the evidence that they found, nobody, heard about the baby, what she took, the snacks, her story, like her statement, which made no sense. And so now I've formed more of an opinion. It's not solid yet because the investigation is still going on, but it's just not looking good. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. There's nothing that I could even grab onto that makes an ounce of sense in her story versus the evidence that's coming out. So that's kind of like where my opinion is swaying. And again, I'm not bullying her. It's just facts doesn't match up to her story. And the reason I'm not bullying her is, first of all, I'm not an asshole. And second of all is, for somebody to do this, if it's not actually something that happened, if this was something that she took her time to try and put together and get all this attention, then that's a mental health problem, a cry for help. Like, something's wrong with this person. So why would I bully them? But it is also against the law because you did waste a lot of people's time. So that's what I have to say about it. And that's why I didn't jump on the bandwagon when this first started happening and be like, hey, did you hear about this? Something with absolutely no facts related to it at all. On another note, Taken has probably seen a surge in people searching it and watching it. So Liam Neeson, thanks all y'all. I'm sure he's not he's not a butthole and he's not going to be like, well, this Carlee Russell disappearance. That's not what it is, but so anyways, this is all we have so far on the Carlee Russell case. And like I said, this is why I didn't come out when it first came out and said anything. So I would love to know what y'all think about this case so far. Do you think it's a hoax or do you think it actually happened, but it's just such a weird story that nobody could actually wrap their minds about it, but it actually did happen? So let me know, and you have 3 ways of letting me know. You can either tell me in the comments right below this podcast player where you're listening right now, and I will get it. I know on Spotify, I do ask questions over there. So if you're using Spotify, you could just answer the question. I'm going to have a poll out as well. You can also join the Lamb Facebook group, which is a free and welcoming group where you can discuss whatever cases that we do have in there with the Lambs, which is going to be this Carlee Russell case, or you can join our exclusive Lamb community at patreon.com/loveandmurder. And you can join in at only $3 a month. With the $3 a month, you get commercial-free episodes. So all the commercials that were in here and all the affiliates and sponsors that I'm about to start posting, you will not have to listen to that at all. You can just listen to the case without an intro, without commercial, straight through. And not only that, you get pictures of evidence, you get court files, you get videos. Whatever comes with that case is what you'll get. You can get in at only $3 a month. And if you want bonus episodes, the best tier is $5 and above. So with $5 and above, you get extra episodes. You get like behind the scenes, serial killer corner, other bonuses. I do true crime, crazy crime roundup, stuff like that. So www.patreon.com/love and murder. Come on over. I'd love to have you in there. Before you go, don't forget to give me a 5-star review on whatever platform you're on. Hey, how about going on the platform, hitting 5-star, and in the description, go into your predictive text, hit that middle predictive text 5 times, and hit send. That's what you're going to have in your comments, and I want to see that. I want to see what your predictive text say 5 times about this podcast. That should be interesting. Follow me on social media. All the links are in the show notes below. And I can't wait to hear more about this case. I can't wait to see where it leads. I'm hoping against hope that this isn't a false statement that was called in. I'm hoping against hope, but my hope is kind of waning. So anyways, please share this episode. That's a free and easy way to help me out. Share. And as always, I end each episode by reminding you, yes, you, that it's all love and no murder, y'all. See y'all later. AI Jane will be here on Wednesday with your midweek mini. Bye.